Greetings. In this video, we're going to be looking at this essay here. Evaluate the view that the only political parties that matter in our political system are the Labour and Conservative parties. This is a non-source essay, so just 30 marks straight. We're going to be talking through the question, and we're going to be talking through some of the things that you might do or not do, and then we'll be looking at the mark scheme to see some of the arguments that you could have brought in. So first of all, this is 30 marks, and there's no source, so all of this needs to come effectively from the top of your heads. It's 30 marks, so we need to have a decent length for this, so a minimum of introduction, 3 sections, and a conclusion. But because you haven't got to read the source and digest it, I would be trying to get 4 sections if possible, maybe even 5 if you're a fast writer. So the amount that you're able to put in here is going to be important. Breadth is going to be important. If everything you're talking about is to do with, say, first past the post in some way, which is an important point, but if everything is to do with that, then the breadth of your essay is not wide enough. So we're looking to see different arguments evaluated. We're looking to see you make a case. You've either going to be saying, yeah, it's only the Labour and the Conservative that matter, or you're going to be saying, no, actually, other parties really do matter as well. Doesn't matter which way you go, but you've got to be consistent in making that case. But you've got to be balanced. So you need to be including the arguments from both sides, knocking down one side and building up the other, but both sides must be there. So the examiner, when they're marking it, will be looking at it going, are both sides here? Yes, tick. Have they picked a side overall? Yes, tick. Have they got evidence on both sides? Yes, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking for recent examples, better, but also some examples from over time as well. So I would like to see things from the 2019 election, 2017 election, maybe some of the recent European elections, other impacts that have kind of taken place. So I want to get a nice range of examples. And the other thing is about this question is, it's a really nice question, really. You know, if you're into politics, you've been looking at your documentaries and all that kind of stuff. If you've been looking at the kind of the recent history of the last 20 years, there's loads to say on here. So for me, this is one of those questions, and obviously I'm biased because I'm a politics teacher, but for me, this is one of those questions where there's so much to say that you're really going to be. Oh, hello. This is H2. Let me just pause that for a second. Why do you ask? So the arguments that you would bring into this essay are as follows, and this is the mark scheme here, which I will attach to this feedback video. You wouldn't need to bring in all of these because there's way too many, but you do need to have that breadth, which I talked about before. So you've wanted some of your obvious arguments to say, yes, it's only Conservatives and Labour that matter, is they still dominate Parliament, and all of the governments from the last 80 years or so have been dominated by the Conservatives and Labour. You can make an argument to say that although the minor parties occasionally kind of push up in European elections or by-elections, they never become close to threatening the main kind of government. As a counter-argument, you can say, what about the coalition in 2010? You can say, well, the Liberal Democrats got in there. But overall it isn't necessarily making a huge difference. You can then talk about kind of funding. You can kind of say, well, only the big ones matter because realistically they're the only ones that win general elections. You can also then kind of talk about the fact that it's only the main parties that kind of really look at the breadth of ideas. So they're the ones that look at economics, foreign policy, law and order, and all those kind of aspects as well. The voting system is really, really important, of course, because first past the post really pushes out all of the other parties, because it's majoritarian. It's all to do with who gets the absolute majority or the plurality in each kind of sections. And then you've got there's no real reason why the other party, there's no real proof that the other parties can break through. So you could use things like UKIP getting 12% of the vote and then failing to only get 1 seat or something like that. You can use that to back that up in some way. But on the other side, there are some good points to say that the other parties really do matter. So Brexit Party wins the European elections in 2017 and 18. And Mrs. Davidson's just come in while I'm finishing recording my video. And you've got all sorts of other issues here, such as like the DUP, the coalition, supply and demand agreements and so on. And party membership has massively gone down amongst Labour and Conservatives as well. Anyway, hopefully that gives you lots of things to talk about. There's a history lesson in here, so I'm going to go. And hopefully that will help you with the rest of it.